Okay, so I filled up my new oil pan with the 7 quarts. It's supposed to be a 7-quart deep sump. And yeah, it does hang down kind of low. But I'm having a problem, and that's not what it is. The problem is, after I added the oil, I don't get any reading on my dipstick. Yeah, that's what she said. So here's the two. I have two different ones here. Let's see if I can line these up. It's very hard to read. They kind of read the same. I have them roughly the same right there. So the fancy chrome one, whatever. They're fairly close. They're off by a 1/4 inch or so. But neither one actually touches the oil. The one on the left, I had that one in there originally. The chrome plated one. It actually had a little bit of oil on the end when I first added the oil. But then when I primed the engine, of course, you know, filled up the filter, ran through the passages, whatever, now it doesn't touch. So I'm about 1.5 inches from the full mark, assuming that I'm right above the oil. This is the one I had in there before. It's it looks nice, but it's got this really tough kink in there. And it just makes it hard to put the dipstick in every time. You can see it's actually got a nice bend in the tubing. So I bought this other one. This is supposed to be an actual 289/66 dipstick. Definitely shaped a lot different. And it's just got a plain steel dipstick. So if I need to make this dipstick 1.5 inches longer, that's not going to happen. But if I shorten the tube up by 1.5 inches, then the dipstick will go farther down into the oil. Unfortunately on this one I can't do that because it's got this little the bracket here. It's at an angle, and that's only about 1.25 inches. So I have to stick this other one in there, the ugly blue color one. We'll shorten that up 1.5 inches, and that will let the dipstick come 1.5 inches farther out, and hopefully it'll measure my correct oil level. Alright, so I cut it off the tube, and this is what it measures now. I'm going to leave it right there for now. Okay, I'm priming my oil pump here. Just put in the oil, and I want to make sure I get oil coming out all my push rods. Okay, I'm getting ready to start it. First time starting it up. I've got oil in the pan. I finished putting the oil in the transmission, which was not any fun at all. Water in the radiator. I got some fuel going into my filter there. I pulled out the little plugs there that you use for setting the fuel level. Pulled them out and primed it with a little syringe. So I was all set to go. Started cranking it, and once I started getting fuel pressure, I was getting fuel just gushing out of this fitting here. This thing is just, let me hold it steady. This thing just has way too much play in it. I'm pretty sure, see my hand's all wet. I think the O-rings are all shot in there. Anytime you run ethanol through here, it just eats that rubber up. So I need to replace this setup. I'm not sure what to do. I think for now I'm going to try just putting my Edelbrock car back on. It just has a simple fuel line. I could just put a regular rubber hose on it, and just to get it running. So. where this tapping noise is coming from. I'm hoping it's just a rocker arm that's not adjusted right, but it could be a collapsed lifter. So I pulled this valve cover off. This is the passenger side. That seemed to be where the noise was coming from the most, but I can't really tell. But got kind of scared when I saw this mess here. Something's oozing out of that rocker arm. I'm hoping it's just some kind of assembly lube. I did wipe them down and clean them, but they said don't spray them, or because you don't want to wash out any of that assembly lube. So I'm thinking that's what that is. Let me see if I can just wipe some off there. Yeah, it's just some kind of assembly lube. It's not gritty or anything at all. So I think I'm okay there. So I'm looking at cylinder number 566 right here. Exhaust rocker. This rocker arm is not getting oil. In fact, I can still push down on the roller lifter, so it's not filling with oil. It's I'm just pushing against the spring in there, and I've been running my got my little drill hooked up, and I'm getting oil through everything, but it's starting to like overflow, and it's going to make a mess. So I'm going to put the valve covers back on, and I'm just going to run this thing for 10-20 minutes, and then take it back off, and hopefully I have some oil in there now, because if I don't ever get oil through there, I gotta take the intake off and pull that lifter out of there, and I don't want to do that. But this is, I'm pretty sure this is the source of my clacking noise. Tapping, knocking, clacking, whatever it is. So let's go. So I've got my 1/4-inch socket there on my long extension, and some just adapters to get it hooked up in my drill. So this has to go counterclockwise, because that's the way the distributor goes. So just spin it up. Okay, I ran it for a while. I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so. I don't think it's going to make any difference running longer than that, but this is that same rocker. You can actually see where there's that assembly lube just dripping out of there that I put on there when I put it back on, so that didn't even get flushed out with the oil. And it's still, I can still compress it. So I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to take that intake off so I can get to that roller rocker, that roller lifter, and I don't know, just replace it. What a pain in the butt.